This one might be more of a comedic video because it says Brink's truck driver caught stealing $500,000 in staged robbery. Staged. So that means that he got robbed, but more than likely he was he was a part of the robbery, or he helped set it up because he worked for Brinks. That's what I'm guessing. So I think it's kind of dumb to work for Brinks and then try to stage a robbery because I'm pretty sure Brinks have thought about this. And I'm pretty sure this has been done in the past, probably before him, meaning he wasn't the first person to do it. And there's a good chance that Brinks had patched that. So whatever the people normally do to stage robberies at their company, Brinks probably already patched it. So it's kind of funny watching people that are dumb try to do smart things. So let's see what was the game plan here and how did he get caught?
Why? Jonah, I need you to come with us. Why? I've answered all your questions. I don't understand. We've spoken with your brother.
This is Jonah Bessard, a Brink's armored truck driver in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, let me take it off for 1.25 speed. So he in Alabama, okay.
The investigators approaching him know exactly what he did, and he's about to find out that his brother told them everything.
He doesn't know anything about this. He wasn't even there. He's already told us about the plan. There was no plan. I don't know what he told you, but I was robbed. I had zip ties up.
4 days earlier,
Wait,
Jonah
wait, wait,
Bessard
wait, wait, hold on. He said his brother was a part of it somehow, and his brother snitched on him.
He doesn't know anything about this. He wasn't even there. He's already told us about the plan. There was no plan. I don't know what he told you, but I was robbed. I had zip ties up.
He said, "Look, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just have like a radar. Like he coming off a little zesty, right? And there's nothing wrong with zesty or gay people. I just like to be able to tell just by like the way people act. I like to be able to point it out. I like to think I can read people. I don't know, but if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I think he might be zesty. That's a little game I play with myself. When I be seeing people interact and talk, I'm like, all right, this person seems like this kind of person.
4 days earlier, Jonah Bessard had called 911 from a
Okay.
gas station parking lot on Higgins Road, voice shaking, claiming 2 armed men had just robbed his armored truck at gunpoint. He said they zip-tied his wrists. He said they took everything. He said he fired a shot at the getaway car as it sped away.
Okay.
Mobile police put out an all-points bulletin for a blue Infiniti G35.
Wait. How did he fire a shot? I thought he said he got zip tied.
With aftermarket rims. They canvassed the neighborhood. They checked every camera within a mile radius.
Okay.
And what they found didn't match a single word of his story. Before we continue, have you ever wondered how much cash is actually inside one of those armored trucks you see at the bank? Drop your guess in the comments. And if you're not already subscribed,
Is it
do it now.
500,000?
This one is intense. Jonah Timoni Dewayne Bessard was born in 1995 in Pritchard, Alabama, a small city just north of Mobile.
He was born in 1995. So that means right now he's probably like, that means he's probably like 30, 31 maybe.
Where the unemployment rate has hovered near 15% for most of his life. His father worked maintenance at the Alabama State Docks for 23 years. His mother worked double shifts as a home health aide, visiting elderly patients across Mobile County 6 days a week.
Okay.
They raised Jonah and his younger brother Isaiah in a 2-bedroom duplex on Wilson Avenue, a street where every third house had a for sale sign and half the driveways were empty. Jonah played running back at Vigor High School, not a star, but reliable. 3rd string most of junior year, 2nd string as a senior.
Why does this matter?
His coaches remembered him as coachable, quiet, the kind of player who showed up early and stayed late but never quite broke through.
Okay.
He graduated in 2013 with a 2.4 GPA and no college prospects.
Okay.
His guidance counselor's notes, later obtained by investigators, described him as pleasant but directionless, would benefit from structure. Structure came in the form of minimum wage jobs,
Okay.
rallies on Spring Hill Avenue, Checkers on Government Boulevard, where he lasted 8 months before a new manager cut everyone's hours. A brief stint at a tire shop that ended when the owner sold the business. By 2017, Jonah was 22 years old, living in his childhood bedroom, cycling through applications for anything that paid more than $10 an hour.
Okay.
When he saw the Brinks posting on Indeed, $14.50 an hour to start, full benefits, company vehicle, he applied the same day. Brinks hired him in March 2018. His background check came back clean. The regional operations manager noted that Jonah interviewed well and expressed a genuine interest in building something stable. He started on a training route,
Okay.
riding shotgun with a senior driver for 6 weeks.
All right.
The senior driver taught him the protocols, how to log each pickup, how to secure the cargo. He also taught him the shortcuts, where the cameras had blind spots,
Ooh.
which stops had lazy clerks who didn't count the bags.
Ooh.
Jonah listened. Jonah learned. Jonah took notes. By 2020, Jonah had been promoted twice. He was now a lead driver, responsible for some of the highest value routes in the mobile area. His supervisors praised his punctuality. His route completion times were consistently in the top quartile. He had never triggered an internal audit. To everyone at the depot, Jonah Bessard was exactly what a good Brinks driver looked like.
Okay.
What no one knew was that Jonah had been stealing since his 3rd month on the job.
Ooh.
An armored truck is not a bank vault on wheels. It's a logistics operation. And like any logistics operation, it runs on trust. Drivers are trained to follow strict protocols, never deviate from the route, never leave the vehicle unattended, never open the cargo hold without authorization. Every bag is logged. Every stop is GPS tracked.
Okay.
Every second of the route is theoretically accountable. But theory and practice are different things. The Brinks Depot in Mobile handles pickups for over 40 financial institutions across 3 counties: banks, credit unions, check cashing stores, large retailers with significant cash volume. On a typical weekday, the depot processes between $2 and $4 million in currency. The drivers who transport that currency are trusted employees, vetted through background checks and drug screenings,
Okay.
trained in defensive driving and conflict de-escalation.
Okay.
They are not, however, watched every second of every shift. In Mobile, a single Brinks driver might service 15 to 20 stops in a single shift. The depot relies on end-of-day reconciliation. Drivers return their bags, a clerk counts the totals, and any discrepancies are flagged. The problem is that discrepancies happen constantly.
Okay.
Tellers miscount. Bags are mislabeled.
Mm-hmm.
Paperwork gets lost between the branch and the depot. A shortage of a few $100s is almost never investigated unless it recurs in a pattern. The system is designed to catch patterns, not single incidents.
Okay.
It is designed to catch stupidity, not patience. And Jonah had patience. He also understood something else: the secondary passenger compartment. Every Brinks truck has a rear cargo area, sealed, alarmed, monitored by sensors that track when the door opens and how long it stays open. But it also has a smaller secondary compartment in the front passenger area, used for low-value pickups, emergency storage, and driver supplies. That compartment is not directly monitored. It's not alarmed. It doesn't trigger a log entry when you open it. And on a busy route, with 15 stops and 100 bags to track and paperwork for each one, no one is watching what goes in and out of it. The compartment was supposed to be used for small pickups, a few $1,000s from a convenience store, petty cash from a restaurant making a night deposit.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no sensor to verify what went in. No camera pointed at the driver's hands.
Okay.
No audit trail for bags that never made it to the cargo hold. Jonah had been skimming from that compartment for nearly 3 years. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. Small enough to fall within the margin of error that every depot manager accepted as the cost of doing business. Large enough, over time, to add up to $134,700. Money that Brinks wouldn't even realize was missing until investigators started pulling the threads after the robbery. Money that had been absorbed into the noise of a system that moved millions every week and couldn't account for every dollar.
Wait, so are you saying that he got away with roughly about $130,000 over those 3 years? And the only reason why he got caught as far as those 3 years go is because of this staged robbery that he might have planned. S- So, is it saying now that because he was greedy enough to stage a robbery, that not only did they realize that the robbery was staged, but they also realized that he'd been stealing for the past 3 years? Hmm.
The staged robbery was not a desperate act. It was calculated, rehearsed, and planned weeks in advance. The plan began in December 2020. Jonah had given notice at Brink's. His final day was scheduled for January 8th, 2021.
Oh, so he had a retirement plan set up basically. His plan was, listen, I plan on quitting, and you know what? Before I quit, how about we just do like this robbery thing, and then after the robbery is done, I'll be planning on leaving anyway. So when I do leave, it won't be like, oh, why is he leaving after this robbery? Nah, I already planned on leaving before that happened. I already told you a long time ago, so it don't look suspicious. And I'm guessing he wouldn't want to stick around and keep working and have them investigate him or watch him after the robbery. So he thought, wow, coincidence that he has a date to retire, or not retire, but to leave the business, and then all of a sudden, right before he gets robbed, and a whole bunch of money goes missing.
He knew his route schedule for the first week of January, and he knew that January 5th included a pickup from New Horizon Credit Union, one of the largest single-day cash transfers on his
Wait,
entire
they said January 5th. Wait, didn't they say that he's planning on quitting January 8th?
day was scheduled for January 8th.
Are you serious? Are you serious right now? So he set up basically an appointment for quitting the job for his last day to be January 8th. His company knows that. He tells them, hey, January 8th, I'm going to leave the company. I'm going to go pursue other things. I appreciate what you guys did for me here. And then he plans a robbery on some big transaction day that Brink gets, where they get a lot of money. And that transaction day just so happens to be 3 days before the day that he chose to be his last day. I'm not gonna lie, that's easily sus. That's easily suspicious.
2021. He knew his route schedule for the first week of January, and he knew that January 5th included a pickup from New Horizon Credit Union, one of the largest single-day cash transfers on his entire schedule, between $400,000 and $500,000 in cash, bundled and ready for transport. The execution required 3 people. Jonah would control the truck and the placement of the money. Isaiah, his younger brother, would be one of the robbers. A third associate would complete the team. The plan was simple. Jonah would load the highest denomination bags into the secondary passenger compartment instead of the secure rear cargo hold. He would stop at a predetermined gas station. The robbers would be waiting. They would rush him, take the bags, and flee. And Jonah would call 911, playing the traumatized victim. The morning of January 5th, Jonah arrived at the depot at 6:15 a.m. When he reached the bags from New Horizon Credit Union, he separated them. The smaller denomination bills went into the secure rear compartment. The larger bills, the 50s and 100s, went into the secondary passenger area.
Wow,
No one noticed. No one asked.
how convenient.
By 9:30 a.m., his truck was carrying $489,000 in cash, and the highest value bags were sitting 12 inches from his right hand. At 9:47 a.m., Jonah pulled into Doug's Quick Mart on Higgins Road. He filled the tank. He went inside to buy coffee. And when he walked back out, two men were waiting for him. One of them was his brother, Isaiah Campbell. Isaiah rushed Jonah, threw him to the ground, and pressed a handgun to his back. The third man grabbed the bags from the secondary compartment. 6 bags, 11 seconds. Both men jumped into a silver Infiniti G35 and sped away. As the car pulled away, Jonah drew his company-issued firearm and fired a single shot in their general direction. The bullet went low and wide. Not a miss, but theater. A gunshot that witnesses would remember. A detail that would make his story more convincing. He waited 30 seconds. Then he called 911. He said he had been robbed at gunpoint. He said 2 masked men had ambushed him. He said he had fired at the fleeing vehicle in self-defense. Every single word was a lie. And for 4 days, everyone believed him. Mobile police responded to Doug's Quick Mart within 4 minutes of the 911 call. 2 patrol units arrived first, followed by a supervisor, followed by detectives from the robbery division. Jonah was still on the ground when they arrived, wrists zip-tied. Loosely, investigators would later know.
Wait. So they zip-tied him in the front? Because how was he shooting if he's zip-tied? And on the floor? How you on the floor zip-tied, but you got a chance to shoot after they drove away?
So loosely that one detective could slip his finger between the plastic and Jonah's skin without effort. He was shaking. He was crying. He gave a detailed statement about the 2 masked men who had ambushed him. He described the car, silver Infiniti, 4 doors, aftermarket rims. He described the guns, 1 handgun, 1 AR-style rifle. He described the sequence of events with the precision of someone who had rehearsed it. Every detail except the truth. The police put out an all-points bulletin. They canvassed the neighborhood. They interviewed the clerk inside the gas station, who confirmed she had heard a gunshot but hadn't seen the robbery itself. They collected shell casings. They photographed the scene. They treated Jonah like what he claimed to be. A victim of violent crime. An employee who had been doing his job when armed men attacked him. The first crack in his story came within hours.
Okay.
GPS data from the armored truck showed that Jonah had deviated from his assigned route that morning.
Okay, what'd he do?
Stopping at an address on Tufts Road, less than a mile from the gas station, for approximately 4 minutes. The stop was not on his route sheet.
Okay.
There was no pickup scheduled at that location. When investigators pulled the address, it came back to a house later linked to a family friend of Isaiah Campbell.
Okay.
The same Isaiah Campbell who had been tagged in social media photos with Jonah 2 weeks earlier. When investigators pulled traffic camera footage from the intersection of Higgins and Tufts, they found the silver Infiniti G35, parked on a side street, engine running, waiting, at 9:41 a.m., 6 minutes before the robbery, 6 minutes before Jonah pulled into the gas station, 6 minutes before 2 men ambushed him in a parking lot they had somehow known he would be in, at a time they had somehow known he would arrive, with a plan to steal bags that had somehow been placed in a compartment they could access without forcing open the secure cargo hold. The second crack came from ballistics. Jonah claimed he fired at the fleeing vehicle in self-defense, the desperate act of a man trying to protect himself and the company's property. But the trajectory analysis told a different story. The single bullet he fired had been aimed low and wide, not at the car, not at the suspects, but at the asphalt approximately 15 feet to the left of the vehicle. It was not the shot of a man defending himself. It was the shot of a man creating evidence. It was theater. The third crack came from a storage unit on Schillinger Road, and that crack would break the case wide open. On January 8th, 2021, 3 days after the robbery, FBI agents obtained a federal search warrant for a storage unit on Schillinger Road, registered in the name of Jonah T. Bessard. The warrant was based on a tip from a confidential informant who had identified the location as a place where Jonah had been seen multiple times in the weeks before the robbery. When agents arrived at 6:45 a.m., they found the unit padlocked with a combination lock.
Wait. What is this third evidence? What?
Registered in the name 8th, 2021, 3 days after the robbery,
Okay.
FBI agents obtained a federal search warrant for a storage unit on Schillinger Road,
Storage unit.
registered in the name of Jonah T. Bessard. The warrant was based on a tip from a confidential informant who had identified the location as a place where Jonah had been seen multiple times in the weeks before the robbery. When agents arrived at 6:45 a.m., they found the unit padlocked with a combination lock. They cut the lock and opened the door. What they found inside would become the centerpiece of the federal case.
Is it the money?
Stacked in boxes and plastic bins, bundled in rubber bands and bank straps. $120,470 in cash.
Wow.
Some of it still bore the New Horizon Credit Union stamps. Some of it was loose, stuffed into shoeboxes and duffel bags.
Damn.
The money had been sorted by denomination. Hundreds in one bin, 50s in another, smaller bills in a third. It was organized. It was methodical. It was the work of someone who had been doing this for a long time. But the cash was not the only thing in the unit. 6 handguns, 2 Glocks, a Sig Sauer, a Smith & Wesson revolver, and 2 unregistered pistols with the serial numbers filed off. 2 AR-style pistols with extended magazines. 11 rifles, hunting rifles, tactical rifles.
Okay.
1 antique lever action that looked like it belonged in a museum. 1
Okay.
shotgun, pump action, loaded. And in a manila folder, tucked between 2 boxes of ammunition, a handwritten list, later matched to Jonah's handwriting by FBI forensic analysts,
Wow.
detailing pickup amounts dating back to August 2018. The list was the smoking gun. Each entry included a date, a route number, and a dollar amount. $450, $1,100, $800, $2,200. Small amounts, individually unremarkable, the kind of discrepancies that got written off as counting errors or paperwork mistakes.
Okay.
But when agents added up every entry on that list, 3 years of notations, page after page of careful records, they arrived at $134,700.
Okay.
$134,700.
Is that within the 3 years?
Stolen over 34 months.
34 months?
In addition to
Yeah.
the $489,000 taken in the staged robbery.
Okay.
The total theft, $503,230.
Okay.
Within hours of the storage unit search, investigators had obtained arrest warrants for Jonah, Sierra, and Isaiah.
Damn.
Sierra Briannia Overton.
So within hours of it. So you see how you could speak things into like fruition? How words are just powerful? He told the company, hey, this day, January 8th, yeah, that's gonna be my last day. I'm gonna resign from this position. And he's thinking, all right, cool. On the 5th, he's gonna go do that stage robbery. And then it's like, damn, hey, I got robbed, sorry. And then he's gonna basically still quit on his own, on his own free will 3 days later on the 8th, and then go and enjoy that money. But on the 8th, yeah, that's his last day for working at that job, but it's not gonna be on your terms. It's gonna be because they had to get rid of you and you getting locked up. That's crazy.
Jonah's girlfriend of 2 years, the woman he had been living with since 20, obtained arrest warrants for Jonah, Sierra, and Isaiah. Sierra Briannia Overton, Jonah's girlfriend of 2 years, the woman he had been living with since 2019,
Okay.
was arrested at their apartment on January 9th. She had $8,400 in cash in her bedroom closet and
Okay.
text messages on her phone discussing the come-up and Jay's thing. Isaiah Campbell was picked up the same afternoon
So
at
she
a
knew
relative's
about
house in Pritchard. He was wearing new Jordans, purchased, investigators would later confirm, with cash 3 days after the robbery.
Yo, bro, hit a lick, stealing about a little under $400,000 from Brink, And with his share of the money, the first thing he went and did was buy some Jordans. Bro, I swear, son. Some niggas just deserve to be broke, son. Just deserve to be broke, bro. Oh my goodness.
And Jonah was arrested at the Brinks depot 4 days after he had called 911 claiming to be a victim, surrounded by the same colleague.
And that's the same thing that happened with have you ever seen the movie Blue Magic with Denzel Washington? In the movie Blue Magic, Denzel Washington's character, he's like a big like drug lord in New York, I believe. And he was always trying to lay low. He wasn't trying to wear fancy clothes or buy fancy cars. And he was making a lot of money. He was like the richest drug dealer or drug lord at the time. And what got his eye, or what got the attention of law enforcement when it came to him was apparently in the movie he was going to go watch a famous boxing fight. And when he was going to that fight, his girlfriend, or I don't know if it was wife, but his girl at the time, she was telling him, like, baby, I bought you this jacket to celebrate you, basically, to show you how I appreciate you. And I guess she used his money to buy this, like, luxurious looking, like, mink coat type of jacket, like a very fancy, nice looking jacket. Like, you can easily tell it makes, it costs money. You could tell it costs money, right? And he's like, baby, like this is not me. You know what I mean? Like I don't buy stuff like that. And she's like, I mean, this is just a special occasion. So things are going good for him at this time. So he decides to go along with it. All right, and he wears it to the fight. He wears it to the fight. He has like great seats. He's sitting next to other people that are like well known, that are rich and famous. And you got this guy who's like, he's not well known. Like, nobody knows who he is, what he does. He has this very pricey looking mink coat type of jacket. And the police, when they see that, they get curious. Who is this guy? And there's a black guy. What does he do for a living? And then that's when their eyes and attention turned to him and they started digging into who this guy is. And eventually, that's how they started to figure out that he was the guy that was responsible for the blue magic drug that was going around and basically, you know, taking over the drug scene as far as the mob goes and all that other stuff, basically. Um, but yeah, that's what this just reminded me of because this guy he does exactly what Denzel Washington's character, which and that's based off of a true story apparently, but he does exactly what Denzel Washington's character was always avoiding doing, which was trying to look fancy and fly and peacocking to the point that you get the attention of law enforcement, right? Because you want to blend in, you don't want to stand out when you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. So anyway, this guy went and bought Jordan. Now you might think, ah, he's buying Jordans. Like Jordans is not that crazy, but it's just funny to hear. The first thing he does when he gets like some money is go and buy some expensive sneakers.
Who had trusted him for 3 years, in the same building where he had loaded bags into his truck every morning and told himself no one would ever find out. The confrontation happened at the Brinks Depot on Rangeline Road.
Oh,
Brinks Depot, 4 days after he had called 911 claiming to be a victim, surrounded by the same colleagues who had trusted him for
hold on,
the
hold
editor's
on.
house in Pritchard. He was wearing new Jordans,
Okay.
purchased, investigators would later confirm, with cash 3 days after the robbery. And Jonah was arrested at the Brinks Depot 4 days after he had called 911 claiming to be a victim, surrounded by the same colleagues who had trusted him for 3 years, in the same building where he had loaded bags into his truck every morning and told himself no one would ever find out. The confrontation happened at the Brinks Depot on Rangeline Road just after 9 a.m. on January 14th, 2021. Jonah had come in to complete paperwork for what he still believed would be his final days of employment. He had not yet been told that his resignation had been superseded by his termination, effective immediately upon review of the investigation. He was standing at the dispatch counter, reviewing his manifest, making small talk with a colleague about weekend plans, when two mobile police detectives walked through the front entrance. He saw them before they reached him. His colleague would later tell investigators that Jonah's expression didn't change, that he kept talking, kept reviewing his paperwork, kept pretending everything was normal, even as the detectives closed the distance. It was only when they stopped directly in front of him that he set down his pen. "Mr. Bessard, we need you to come with us." Jonah's voice was steady. His hands stayed on the counter. "Come with you. I've answered all your questions. I don't understand what else you need from me. We've spoken with your brother." The pause lasted 2 full seconds. Jonah's eyes moved, left, then right, then back to the detective's face. "My brother, Isaiah doesn't know anything about this. He wasn't even there."
Wait. Why doesn't he play the video? I mean, he had the video right here. Is there a reason why he's not playing the actual video?
The detective didn't blink. "He's already told us about the plan, Jonah. The storage unit, the list, all of it." "There was no plan." Jonah's voice rose. His composure cracked. "I don't know what he told you, but I was robbed. I had zip ties on my wrists. I was on the ground with a gun in my back. I would never." "Jonah." The detective's voice was calm, almost gentle. "We found the storage unit. We found the money. We found the list, the one you wrote, with your handwriting, dating back to 2018. He stopped talking. His hands, which had been gesturing, dropped to his sides. He stared at the detective for 3 full seconds without blinking. The colleague who had been talking to him about weekend plans took a step back. The dispatch clerk behind the window looked away. Then he said, "I want a lawyer."
Damn.
Those were the last words Jonah Bessard spoke to investigators. He was handcuffed in the dispatch area, walked past the same colleagues who had waved at him every morning for 3 years, and placed in the back of an unmarked police vehicle. The depot fell silent as they drove away. Stories like this rarely make national news. They get buried in local coverage and forgotten within a week. But the pattern keeps repeating. Trusted employees, systems with gaps, and the people who exploit them. If you want to see more stories like this, subscribe now and hit that notification bell. We cover these cases weekly. Jonah Bessard was indicted by a federal grand jury in the Southern District of Alabama on January 15th, 2021, one day after his arrest. The charge, bank theft, a violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 2113.
What does that mean?
Prosecutors argued that because the stolen funds belonged to New Horizon Credit Union, a federally insured financial institution,
It's a federal
the
crime.
fell under federal jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
The staged robbery, they noted in their filing, was not merely theft. It was an elaborate fraud designed to conceal years of prior criminal conduct and obstruct the investigation that would inevitably follow. Jonah was denied bail. The court cited flight risk. He had been days away from leaving his job and had access to significant cash,
Damn.
and the seriousness of the charges. He was held at the Mobile County Metro Jail pending trial. In April 2021, after 3 months of negotiations between his public defender and federal prosecutors, Jonah pleaded guilty. There was no trial. His attorney, a federal...
He pleaded guilty. Sheesh.
After 3 months of negotiations between his public defender and federal prosecutors, Jonah pleaded guilty. There was no trial. His attorney, a federal public defender named Carla Hutchins, negotiated a deal that acknowledged Jonah's cooperation in identifying the full scope of the theft and the recovery of a significant portion of the stolen funds. In exchange, prosecutors agreed not to pursue additional charges related to the firearms found in the storage unit, weapons that could have added years to his sentence. At sentencing, The prosecutor read from a victim impact statement submitted by the operations director of New Horizon Credit Union.
Okay.
This was not a robbery. This was a calculated betrayal executed over years by someone we trusted with our members' livelihoods. Mr. Bessard was entrusted with our members' money, their savings, their paychecks, the deposits they made to pay rent and feed their families.
Okay.
He exploited that trust methodically, patiently, and without remorse. And when he decided he wanted more, when small thefts were no longer enough, he staged a violent crime scene and wasted the resources of every law enforcement officer who responded.
Yeah, to solve it.
He lied to their faces for 4 days while they searched for suspects who didn't exist.
Damn.
Our members deserve better. Our community deserves better. And the system that allowed this to happen deserves a hard look at its own failures. Senior U.S. District Judge William Steele addressed Jonah directly before pronouncing sentence. His words would be quoted in local news coverage for months afterward. Mr. Bessard, I have reviewed your background.
I met, his name is Mr. Bessard, right? But every time they say the word Bessard,
I've reviewed your background afterward.
every time they say Mr. Bessard, and they say Mr. Bastard. Oh, Mr. Bastard. Oh, man, just insulting this dude, bro. That's crazy.
Bessard, I have reviewed your background. I have read the letters from your family asking for leniency. I have considered your age, your lack of prior criminal record.
Wait, his age? So this said that this happened in like 2018, I believe. Or 2018, I think that's when he got the job. So if he was born in 1995, then 2018, that means he'll be like 22, right? Like 22, 23, right?
And the cooperation you provided after your arrest. And I find none of it sufficient to explain or mitigate what you did. You had every opportunity to build an honest life.
Yep.
You had stable employment at a
Yep.
company that paid you fairly and promoted you twice.
Damn.
You had a path forward. Instead, you chose to steal.
Damn right.
Methodically, repeatedly, and ultimately theatrically.
Yep.
The staged robbery was not desperation. It was not poverty. It was not addiction. It was arrogance. You believed you were smarter than the system.
Yep.
You believed you could take $500,000 and walk away. You were wrong.
And that's what I'm talking about. When people think that they are the first ones to come up with a bright idea to do something illegal. Like, bro, you are not that special, bro. Like, you're not the first person, bro. And unfortunately, you're probably not going to be the last.
This court sentences you to 24 months in federal custody, to be followed by 3 years of supervised release.
Okay.
You will pay $503,230 in restitution to New Horizon Credit Union.
How?
And you will carry this conviction, this record of betrayal, for the rest of your life. Jonah
Felony?
Bessard reported to FC Wire Pensacola, a low-security federal correctional institution in Northwest Florida, in October 2021. He received credit for time served since his arrest in January. His projected release date was January 2023. His girlfriend, Sierra Briannia Overton, pleaded guilty to state charges of receiving stolen property and theft conspiracy in Mobile County Circuit Court. She was sentenced to 5 years probation with conditions including 200 hours of community service and full cooperation with federal investigators.
Okay.
She was not required to pay restitution beyond what was recovered from her possession.
Okay.
His brother, Isaiah Campbell.
I mean, I think that's fair for the girlfriend because she wasn't the one that was out there involved. Now, she may have knew, but she may have just knew because she was just stupid enough to tell her about it, you know? And she probably figured, I mean, well, if you're going to get away with it, you, like, sure, I'll be willing to take some if you're offering, you know? So, I mean, probation, that's basically saying, hey, if you get into a situation like this again, you better let us know. Because if we find out that you knew and didn't say anything, then we going to get you for real next time. You know what I mean? So I think that's fine. And the fact that she didn't have to pay any extra additional money because they already took whatever they gave, whatever the boyfriend gave her, I guess. So yeah, I think that's fine. For her, that's fine.
Pleaded guilty to state charges of theft of property first degree and conspiracy. He was sentenced to 18 months in Mobile County Metro Jail, with credit for time served and eligibility for work release after 6 months. Their relationship, according to family members who spoke to local reporters, has not recovered. The Brinks Depot on Rangeline Road.
When he says the relationship, he's talking about him and his brother. Because I could see him being upset with his younger brother for snitching on him. But I mean, he was gonna get caught regardless. Because you know what I mean. Like if they caught the younger brother, that means they had evidence against him. And if the younger brother gave up his older brother, it's probably because the younger brother realized, like, bro, they got us. You know what I mean? Like they got me good. Now, could he have gotten away with it if his younger brother didn't say anything? I don't know. But something tells me that he probably wouldn't have gotten away with it because they still found out about all the other times that he stole before the robbery. You know. Now, if the brother snitching on him is what led to them finding out about all the other things he did, then I guess that's a different story. But
Implemented new protocols within 6 months of the arrest. Dual driver routes became mandatory for all pickups exceeding $100,000. GPS tracking was extended to secondary compartments. Random cash audits were instituted at mid-route stops. And every new hire was required to watch a training video that included, without naming names, a case study of an insider threat who had exploited system gaps for years before staging his own robbery. The company declined to comment on the case. They did not respond to requests about whether any supervisors had been disciplined for failing to detect the prior thefts.
so this situation was so big and so stupid that they made a crash course video to show to new recruits to say, hey, don't be this dumb. Don't do something as stupid as this because we will find out and your ass will probably go to jail or whatever. Don't be this guy, you know? And the good thing about it is that this guy, he was young. He was probably like around 22-ish, maybe. Oh, no, not 20. Yeah. Maybe he's probably like around 22, 23. I mean, if he went and did 2 years or whatever, that means he should be out like in 2018, 2019. That means yeah, he should be out by like 2021, 22. That yeah, like he should be out now. So he gets to live his life. I mean, sure he's gonna have this on his record, but he should be able to bounce back from this, so to speak. And as far as finding a job, I don't know how easy or difficult it'll be to try to find a job with some type of felony record that has to do with you stealing money from the people you work for. But maybe he can find a job as long as they keep him away from the cash register. They'll probably be able to hire him without being worried. So uh, at least he has a second chance, you know?
Jonah Bessard was released from federal custody in January 2023, having served his full sentence. He was 28 years old. He owed over $500,000 in restitution, a debt that would follow him for decades, garnished from every paycheck,
Damn.
attached to every tax refund, a permanent reminder of what he had done.
Wow. So this is a lesson that he literally has to pay for I mean, probably the rest of his life. $500,000? I wonder how much they're taking out of his checks every pay period for that. Are they taking $100 from each check? 200, 500?
He was barred from working in security, logistics, banking, or any position requiring a fiduciary bond. His employment options for the rest of his life would be limited to jobs that didn't run background checks. And every single colleague who had trusted him, who had waved at him in the morning, who had covered his roots when he was sick, who had believed his story for 4 days while police searched for armed robbers who didn't exist,
Hmm.
would remember the moment they found out what Jonah Bessard really was.
So now his name is Jonah Bessard, right?
Would remember the moment they found out what Jonah
From Jonah Bastard to Jonah Bessard.
Bessard really was. That case was textbook. The planning, the execution, the arrogance of someone who thought they'd never get caught. All of it. But this next case on the right side of your screen,
Look at this creep. Gym owner arrested after hiding cameras in women's locker room. That's some creep shit. If that's true, that is some creepy stuff right there. But anyway, yeah, that was the video, man. That was the video. Um, moral of the story: I mean, don't steal from your employers. Don't get greedy and try to steal from the people that's paying you. You know, because more likely than not, they are prepared for that. You know, they probably thought about that, like, hey, what if someone wants to do this? And they patched it. I mean, clearly he got caught, so it's probably not the first time that happened. And then, I mean, there's stupid people that's gonna come after him, you know. So it'll probably happen again. But yeah, man, don't be like that. Don't be like that guy. Don't steal from your job. Um, but yeah, man, that's the end of that. That's the end of that video. That's the end of the stream. I'm gonna go take care of the rest of my